Really, she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear. My fellow brethren, what's up? We back. And let me see, it's always a blessing, man. This is episode 3, officially episode 3. And if you watch these things, or if you share them, man, watch them in order, because we're going to build upon what was said in the previous video. So, time to go listen to the other two. But in today's session, we'll be talking about, do you need to like your wife? And you want the short answer? No. First, let me scratch off the notion that a happy wife is a happy life. That's backwards. That woman was put here to please you, not the other way around. If you put the cart before the ox, you ain't about to go nowhere very quickly, and then be frustrated with the whole design of the mechanism, thinking that it's flawed. No, your strategy was flawed, brother. And us trying to be the knight in shining armor, sometimes we do too much. You get what I'm saying? So no, happy wife, happy life doesn't mean anything. It's only probably happy for her. And then if you look at women like Jada Pinkett Smith, who's been supposedly happily wedded for years, but still unhappy. We'll put this woman first in everything, like the singer Jaheim says, put that woman first. And look at what happened to him. You don't put your woman first. You put yourself first. Because that's the way Yah did it. Yah didn't make Eve first. And see, there's something within a woman that knows that while flattering, this is somewhat unnatural. Or it makes her feel uncomfortable to give her so much attention, to put her so high on a pedestal. And that there is the difference between the good guy and the bad guy. See, the good guy thinks that she's just the light of his life. She's the goddess in his life. She gave him purpose. When in actuality, you should have already had your purpose before you got with this woman. I hate when men say, oh man, it wasn't until I met this woman that I really figured out what my life was to be like, or she gives me purpose and drive. These are things as a man you should have had before. Which lets me know while you may be happy, she's not. Because what she got was a man who wasn't full of purpose and wasn't full living out the drive. And that's what drives a woman to a man. Now the bad guy will take her as she is. Oh, sweetheart, yeah, what you want to do? You pull up, you beep the horn, she get in, she smoke, sniff, do whatever it is she do. Not that I'm endorsing those activities, but just hear me out. There's a zone with the bad guy that she doesn't feel like she's being judged. So you're going to get the most authentic version of that woman. And you're going to get her to do things that the good guy never could. You understand? I'm going to say this, and it's going to be a whole other video. But I'm going to say it right now. A lot of you men with your woman in your relationship could not get her to do what she did with men like me when she was in a situationship. When she was a rotation chick. Men like me, who put the least, got the most. And men like you, who put the most, barely ever get the roast or the toast. Now in a world like that, in a dynamic like that, which man do you want to be? Don't take the moral high road. Don't say what you think sounds good. Don't say what panders to a group in a room full of women. Which one would you rather be? Ask yourself and be honest. Some of us brothers have had this type of ism to get the woman, and then for whatever reason, when we become a husband, or even when we find our purpose within the Most High, we feel like this ism needs to be thrown out. And I always tell people, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Yeah, when we were born anew, a lot of what we took from Babylon needs to be left in Babylon, but please understand this here. The Father has no desire or no purpose to deal with simps on any level. I don't care what that woman look like. She could look like a 10 to me. She's a 5. Nothing will ever place her on the level that I am. And you should have the same mentality. I have a rich mentality, even if my pockets don't say so. I have an abundant mentality. And the abundant mentality doesn't say, oh, I don't need this woman because I got X amount of women at the house. The abundant mentality says, I don't need this woman even if I only got one at the house. I don't need this woman even if I have none at the house. And that's what makes them want to come. Now, what makes this channel look different than other men speaking on alpha-related issues is that always we're going to implement our Father's word into how we stepping off the curb. And so when you look at a man marrying women and having favor with one more than the other, most people will point to Jacob and his wives with Leah and Rachel. And I spoke to some women and they'll try to justify and see, well, you see, this is what happens when you take on more than one wife. This is what happens when you're led by lust, assuming that Jacob was led by lust. Some people interpret it differently, but that's neither here nor there. However, the way these women try to make it, it seems as if it's unnatural for a man to favor. I say favor, but when you hear favor, honestly, he just preferred this woman over the other women. And again, in the Bible, can we see an example of this happening? Again, can we see a provision being made for this, like divorce, like we covered in the last lesson? If it didn't happen, then there would not be a provision being made for this. We like to make these people in the Bible more religious, too clean for comfort. You go in your mama's house and she got that magnificent couch, but they got the plastic wrap on it, and you can't sit on the couch, so you stand by the couch. And that's what we do to our biblical characters. But I'm going to dead all of that nonsense though real quick. See, now when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 21 verses 15, and we're going to read from verse 15 to 17, it says, if a man has two wives, let me stop you there. Again, for these pastor pork chop church leaders, telling you that that's unlawful, why would there be a provision in there? And that if is letting you know you don't have to, but if you do have two wives, and because you see two, let's say there's 3, 4, 5, whatever. Anyhow, if a man has two wives and he loves one but not the other, wow, alright. See, that lets me know that whatever we as husbands need to do biblically does not involve us having to be in love with our women. We don't have to like them. Do you understand? You don't have to look upon her with favor. Now, do these things help? All with the exception of being in love? Yeah. Looking upon that woman with favor? Liking the woman that you share a home with? Yeah. Is it required, however? No, because here's the provision, just one of many. And this provision is speaking on if you have a child by both these women. One you favor and the other one you don't. How you're to navigate the situation. It says, and both of the women bear him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the wife he does not love. When he wills his property to his sons, he must not give the rights of the firstborn to the son of the wife he loves in preference to his actual firstborn. You see that there, fellas? You cannot go based off your feelings. You cannot lead from your feelings. If you are in love, you are in your feelings. If you are in hate, you are in your feelings. And see, being masculine ain't raging and wanting to fight somebody all the time because you got an anger problem. No, you just got an anger problem and you may need to repent. Being masculine is using logic. Love her with your mind, not your heart. You can look at what Samson did. Do you want to live like that? Do you want to die like that? You understand? When it comes to living this alpha life, you need to stay out your feelings and stay in the word. I always say F your feelings. Truly, this provision is telling him, don't do what you feel like doing. Verse 17 says he must acknowledge the son of his unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double share of all he has. The son is the first sign of his father's strength. Wow, the right of the firstborn belongs to him. Now this is coming from an author who does not change. He's the same as yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So do you think he feels the same way now? Or do you think because women have been liberated and we've been culturally moved forward, as they'll tell you, that we've gotten in touch with our feminine side, that we have mixed households, women with multiple baby daddies, women who have had multiple men inject seeds in them. They have now become semen dumpsters, that this word is to change? Does it change because you feel like it ought to? Does it change because you don't like what's said in it? Well, of course it doesn't. You are the only thing, the only variable that needs to change in this dynamic when dealing with the Most High. You know, I've spoken with and even quoted women who have told me that their previous situation didn't work out because the man didn't love her. And you know, every time I hear that, I ain't gonna lie to you, I keep a straight face when they talk, but a red flag goes off. Because see, in the mind of a lot of women, when it comes to being loved, that goalpost can always be moved. Because what are you measuring that love by? Why? Because he didn't tell you where he was going that day? That's not your business. What laws do you bring to justify what he did or didn't do? And therefore, what charges do you bring on this man biblically? Or you come bringing your feelings because he didn't love you? What does love mean to you? How do you love you? Do you even know how to love you? Do you love you according to that regimen that you just told me? And when you ask a woman questions like these, 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. She may say yeah, but then you get to looking in her past, and fellas, her past does matter. Only women and simps and effeminate men will tell you her past doesn't. In all facets of her life, she goes to a job interview, they want to see employment what? History. She goes to apply for apartment, they want to see what? Rental history. She goes for a loan, they want to see pay stubs, which is a form of payment history. Your credit ain't nothing but history, i.e. your past. Everything in her life is situated on her past. So for you to be walking around, man, you saying her past doesn't matter, you sound idiotic. Nah, it matters. It just doesn't matter as much as her present, especially if she presently in front of a man like me. And that won't matter as much as where we are about to go if the situation gets on a roll. But because of a woman saying that he didn't love me, this will then justify anything that she does after that. Well, I only did this because he didn't love me. And then you ask her what this was, and it was one of the most egregious things. And see, a lot of men will say, y'all, but there's no accountability for modern day women. And I used to think that until I sat back and kind of watched them a little more. And it's not that there isn't any accountability, there isn't any responsibility. See, a woman has absolved herself from being held responsible, for being responsible for the things she says and does. Because in her mind, you didn't love her, so that was justified. In her mind, she didn't tell a lie, she just created the truth. And that's her truth, and she's going to stick to that, which means it doesn't make her a liar, though the facts don't add up to the truth. In her mind, she's a truther. It's still not factuality because it's just her reality. Her reality does not make anything factuality. You understand? I really hope you're able to pick up what I'm putting down. A woman will use any situation to justify her actions, no matter how grievous they are. As men, we can't get away with that. And I'm not telling you this, men, so that you can be embittered with your significant other or your counterpart. I'm telling you this so that you can understand the nature of most women today and therefore learn to move accordingly. Forever out your feelings and forever in the energy that the Most High created you to be in. Now with my wives, I do what I'm supposed to do biblically as a husband and a man by them. But do I like them all the time? No. Do I feel bad for that? No. A woman needs to earn any and everything she gets. Touch, affection. Look, even you being able to answer the phone when she calls you. Certain women hit me and text me and I'll get back to them in order the message was received. And that's if I do. Even those little things make a difference. Are you on that type of grid with that man that when you text him a question, within 5 minutes he's hitting you back with a response? Or is that 5 hours? Women do not appreciate nothing they ain't earned. I learned it the hard way. So you make them work for everything they get. You make them work for the kiss. You make them work for the stick. You make them work for the warm greet. You make them work for the hard meat. But no, I don't like my wives all the time. And that's fine. And you don't either. You don't have to like her to love her. Get that out your head. And we don't fall in love. God forbid my sons ever come and tell me, oh, Dad, I fell in love with this. Psh, I'm going to slap the words right about his mouth. Don't you ever come in here and start a sentence off like that, boy. I raised you better. The only thing you need to be falling in is deep prayer when you're falling on your knees before your father. You don't fall for nothing else. Now, the woman can fall for you because you're able to pick her back up. But ain't no woman going to pick no man up. You may be a little project. Maybe you was suicidal. Maybe you was a drunkard. Maybe you was disheveled when she met you. Maybe you was homeless. Maybe you was jobless. Maybe you was purposeless. Oof. You think that when she runs across a man who's not any of those things, that she won't secretly desire him more than you? Even if you took a big chick, and shout out to my brothers doing this, if you took a big chick, a 300-pound chick, right? She been big most of her life and you slim her down. See, some of y'all be thinking that when you do that, when you get her slimmed down, she's gonna have this immeasurable gratitude towards you. Never considering the flip side. One, this woman won't know what the experience is of having the newfound attention of having this body. She may go in the mirror and say, well, I look good, but she doesn't know what it feels like to have been that way all her life. She a bad chick now, but she don't know how a bad chick would have been handling this 15, 20 years ago when they was in junior high. So it's still new to her. And then the attention she's getting from suitable men. These men in her mind have more value because these men wouldn't have gotten with a 300-pound chick, therefore their standards may have been a little higher. Therefore, she values their likes way more than yours. You in her ear every day. You can do it, babe. And this man just liked the picture and it made her parts get wet. You see what I'm saying? You get the more for less when you do the less. But a woman can't tell you what she's gonna do if she's never had that experience before. But yeah, I'm not in love with none of my wives. I'm not in love with no woman. I love them. I'm not emotionally attached. So if in the day comes I need to be emotionally detached, I can do that. And what other way can you lead effectively? If you lead with your emotions, though she wants to be emotional with you, she wants you to be in your emotions until she doesn't. Don't be a woman pleaser, you be a pleaser of Yah. And because we don't fall in love with our women, sometimes we give them a hard time. And those men are the most that they're loyal to. Ask your woman what was the worst relationship she's ever been in her life. She'll tell you. And then ask her how long was she in that relationship. And look at the duration. Now I'm not telling you to go around and beat this woman up and anything like that. I'm just telling you, you always deal with a woman from a position of power. Nothing less. And she may not like it. Again, we don't need her to like us. But she will respect it. That's to be expected. Now, I can go a little deeper on this, but again, I'm trying to keep these at a certain run time, you know. But until the next episode, fellas, man, if you found this experience that I'm giving out enlightening, intriguing, one like it, two share it, bro. You understand? Hey, peace and blessings in the name of Yahshua. Selah. Pull up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't wanna